Hey, this is Vicarious Alex. I travel so you don't have to. And I'm here today to talk about the novel American Gods, written by Neil Gaiman. I personally listened to the novel over the last 2 weeks, and it was recommended to me by somebody I stayed with in Key West, who listens to a lot of novels while he hikes. So this was recommended to me. I listened to it on Audible. I downloaded the 10th anniversary full cast edition, which had a full cast of voice actors, which was pretty good. And I recommend this book, especially if you're looking for a long book. It's pretty cool. The author explains it really well. He wanted to write a book that kind of meanders and gives you a real feel for the environment. It's a really strange environment. The reason why I recommend it is because of its strangeness. It's done in a very unique way of like introductions of these different gods. Who are these gods? Why are they gods? What generated them? A set of theories about the nature of gods and what has them be gods, what makes them powerful and weak. And it's really interesting. He creates an interesting environment. So I recommend it. That's in 2 minutes. Yeah, sweet. So if you don't want to know anything else about the book, please leave. Great. So, what is the book? Who is in the book? And what happens in the book? Let's discuss that. So, the main character is a man named Shadow. You meet Shadow in prison. And he gets out of prison in the beginning of the book to a really bad day. His wife that he loves, that has been waiting for him in prison, while he's been in prison, she just got into a car accident and died, like the day before he gets out. Or he gets out a little early because she died. His best friend, who he was going to go back to, work for him, and he was going to go and work for his best friend, he died too. They died together in this car crash because she was sucking his dick and he lost control of the car and hit a truck and tumbled off road, and they both died. What a bad day. So the main character of the book, in no sense, is relatable, in my opinion, to anyone. Hands down. You're walking through this book with this guy who is completely shut down. He's shut down in the beginning of the book. It's mentioned later in the book that he's like completely shut down and he doesn't react like anybody else. That there's no reason for him to react the way he does. He just simply is. Legit just is. He is there for the creator, the writer, to make a book around. I mean, in my opinion. The voice acting for him, it's very much like watching cutscenes in a video game. If you really like a video game, or like a video game like Gods of War, where you're getting like this theology this mythology kind of inside your action game. It's like the same thing. It's like you're getting all this theology and mythology inside your action book. Pretty action-packed-ish. No, not really. There are some action-y scenes, but not a lot. It's more like going around. The main character, whose name is Shadow, meets Odin, whose nickname in this book is Wednesday. Odin makes a pact with Shadow for Shadow to be his like errand boy. And then Odin is grabbing up all of these old gods from different areas of different pantheons, because we're in America and all these immigrants came over and they brought their gods in their brains. And because they worship their gods, those gods become real and they have powers. And there are all these different gods from different pantheons that you're getting introduced to, but in really subtle ways. So you don't even know who these gods are unless you're really, really good at mythology, I'm guessing, because I didn't know a lot of them, and I thought I was like pretty decent. But like they leave out Greek, Roman gods, like basically altogether. I mean, I didn't see any, or I don't remember any. Like Pan was mentioned like for a minute. You know, there's like a little intros to these characters. And anyway, so he's going around the country. He's trying to gain all of these gods. And it's pretty interesting. They introduce these gods. The gods are like, yeah, this is what I do. This is how I do it. So that's an interesting piece. Another interesting piece is that right off the bat, Shadow meets a leprechaun who teaches him how to grab coins, gold coins, out of the air, out of like nothingness. And Shadow does it and grabs this coin that he shouldn't have gotten. And he gives this coin just because of the way the book was written to his dead wife by like throwing it on her grave, which brings her back to life, kind of, sort of. And she's following him around throughout the book, being his like protector. Very much, to me, video game-esque, kind of like you meet people. He meets random people who are very utilitarian to the story developing. Anyways, so Shadow, Wednesday, they're creating this band of gods, old gods, to fight against the new gods. Because it's either side's going to win. Either the old gods are going to beat the new gods, and they're going to become powerful again, or the new gods are just going to kill them. Because the old gods are getting kind of like, why am I even here anymore? So the new gods are like technology is a new god. And television is a new god. And roadways and railways. And, you know, if it was this day and age, it would be like Twitter is a new god. And Facebook is a new god. Social media would have a face. And that face would be a god, because people are spending their time, they're sacrificing their time to these gods. And the thing about the new gods is like the railway is a new god, but like he doesn't have that many worshipers anymore already. And a lot of this book is talking about how America is kind of poison to gods. Like they don't stick around. Progression, things progress really quickly here, where in the older country, you know, Odin would still be kind of powerful. Like in India, the Indian pantheon is very powerful. The entities that are over there, that are alive because of the belief in those gods. There's like a Shiva in India, and there's like a Shiva in America, and there's a Shiva wherever Indians are, because we bring them as people, we bring them in, and our collective consciousness creates reality. And it has a lot, that's what I got out of that. So Wednesday meets up with these other characters, and things happen. As I said, this book meanders. Very difficult to explain, like, there's just stuff that happens. But at the end of the day, it's established that Wednesday's kind of a jerk, and he's a grifter, and he, like, rips people off. And he's also, like, kind of the pseudo-leader of the old gods. And so he goes to peace negotiations with the new gods and gets shot in the face. As things happen. He gets shot in the face. Shadow gets hung on a tree for 9 days to be visual, to pay visual to Odin. In that time, he kind of trips out for about 9 days, for probably 8 days of the 9, and he goes through all these very spiritual journeys. He finds out that Odin is his father. He meets up with all these other gods. He gets judged and weighed by the Egyptian gods, which was pretty cool. They have like Horus over there, and Horus is a pretty neat character who owns a funeral home in like our reality. But when Shadow is seeing him, he's like in his god form. He's gonna, Shadow's gonna die. And you meet all these characters, and it's very hard to explain, but basically, Shadow gets off the tree at the end of the 9 days. He gets more or less resurrected by Easter, who, as we all know, has nothing to do with Christianity. She's a pagan goddess of fertility. So she's pretty powerful as an old goddess because people still worship her. So she still has the ability to like give life. So she gives him life. He figures out that this whole war is a ploy, goes to the battleground between the old gods and the new gods. And in this book, you're almost like cheering for the old gods because that's who you've been traveling with. But there is no real side. It's basically the new gods and the old gods use people to become powerful. So they're both, it's completely unrelatable to the audience. It's just like a cool thing that's happening. So he goes to this battleground, and the leader of the other side is Loki. Right? So Loki's leading one side, and Odin is leading the other side. And they're just trying to gain power for themselves. So they're trying to have this war, dedicate it to themselves, because they get more powerful when people die for them. When people are murdered for these gods, and for Loki, if there's chaos, they become more powerful. So they're trying to do this whole thing, your whole book experience boils down to Odin and Loki are playing both sides so they can become powerful again, so they don't have to like not be powerful, because being an unpowerful god who kind of doesn't ever really die, like it's really hard to kill gods. If they just become powerful again. And Shadow fucks that up. He's just like, this is all bullshit. They gave you an ultimatum that doesn't make any sense. And you guys should all just go home. And that's what they do. All the gods pack up their stuff and they leave. And Odin, basically, he died. And he was going to come back from all the power that he was going to get from this battle. He never comes back. Loki got stabbed by a spear by Shadow's wife. They're dead. So Shadow's wife's dead. Loki's dead. And Odin's dead. All those characters are dead. And Shadow sorta is a god. So he's kind of like a god. And he travels around, and at the end, the very end, he meets Odin in like Iceland. Like a different Odin in Iceland. And he gives the Odin in Iceland a fake eye from the Odin from America. And it's just like a pretty crazy engagement. And then the book ends. And this book is pretty long. It's like 13 hours long to listen to. And I just gave it to you in about 15 minutes. So there's a lot. It's a long, long book. It meanders. It's pretty cool. I like when books meander. I like when the environment is explained. And I think other books would, if you want a really long meandering book that is more relatable to people and how people act, then I would recommend The Stand by Stephen King, which is a 23-hour-long mega book on Audible. Mega book. Mega fucking book. It's crazy. It's awesome. 23 hours. It's like 3 books in one, because there's 3 main things that happen, and he explains them in incredible detail. So I recommend this book. If you like gods, I would double recommend this book. If you like meandering, crazy novels, I'd recommend this book after you listen to The Stand, and then give it probably a couple months, and then listen to this book, because they're really long, and like The Stand takes a long time. Yeah, thanks. I'm Vicarious Alex. I travel so you don't have to. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye.